What's happening, Reds? Monday morning here on the east coast of Dublin. Nice fresh morning, clear skies, bit nippy alright, so that temperature has definitely dropped, but we're here for a kind of a match reflection from Saturday. Really poor showing from the Reds, absolute shit show, and not the kind of performance you want to see leading into Champions League week. AC Milan away tomorrow night at the San Siro. Obviously a tough one to start with, one that we should be doing well in though, but poor preparation in that Forest game, and it's kind of a reflection of, we call something, you know, what's old is new, you know, and these are the kind of games we've seen before where we drop a clanger in them and stuff like that. It's not necessarily the bigger games against the top six. Often where we drop points tends to be sometimes against the lower league teams who are struggling and stuff like that. And Forest did us dirty, didn't they, at the weekend, big time. A bit of naivety from Arna as well in terms of the setup, in terms of the team. A lot of stuff there went in. Obviously there was Harvey's out, of course, with the ankle, the ankle break and stuff like that, and how we could have done with Harvey's energy coming on as one of those subs to lift the team a little bit. I thought the team played very lacklustre. Obviously the international break came at a real poor time for us. We were playing really well after beating United. We needed to keep that momentum going, and it killed us. And you're going to see a lot of that this year as well, because I think we've another 5 or 6 games, and then it's another international break, and then we've another 5 or 6 games, then another international break. So a totally disrupted season by international breaks, but all teams have to deal with it. But especially ourselves and the bigger teams, who most of our players do be on international duty far and wide and across the globe. Obviously there was concern whether McAllister would start or not, but he did. He had that abductor issue while away with Argentina. But it was a really poor game. I mean, in the first half, kind of felt a little bit like the Ipswich game, trying things and stuff like that, but very disjointed. Passing was kind of off. It was like these players hadn't played with each other before, you know. It was just so many balls just overhit, you know, so many passes that we couldn't put together and all, and it was certainly reflective in the second half as well. Came out in the second half and we were thinking, right, we'll get at these in the second half, we'll attack the cop, you know, and we'll have a proper go and all that kind of stuff. But we were so poor, so poor. Really bad. Passing was disjointed, and a lot of these guys came in on the back of some good form during the international break. They played really well. You look at the players, who comes out of it unscathed? Not too many. Gravenberch did good. I like the way Gravenberch, we talk about this ball playing 6 and stuff like that, but he did show as well on Saturday that he can get stuck in and be that destroyer as well at times if needed. So very happy with kind of his development, stuff like that. Doesn't take away from the fact that we didn't get the 3 points, and we would have been going into this series of matches kind of buoyed as well, where we had started the league with 3 wins, 3 clean sheets, and then we come up and it's Nottingham Forest, and then I think we've Bournemouth next, and we were thinking we should put 6 points on the board here, shouldn't we? And then we'd have like 5 from 5, 15 points, and let's see how the clean sheets go. But it wasn't to be. Dropped 3 points against Forest, and what's really disappointing about this as well is that it just, you know, none of our rivals, the likes of City and Arsenal in the title race, they are not going to drop points to Nottingham Forest at home. Forest are not going to beat City at the Etihad, and they're not going to beat Arsenal at the Emirates, and that's what's really poor about this. And it's those results that trigger the title race and trigger the end of season. When you look back and you go, if you're, you know, 5, 6, 7, 10 points off, you look back, those are the games that cost you, not necessarily the draws against City or the draws against Arsenal or whatever it is. It's those points that you drop against those lesser teams is what really cost you in the end, and that was really poor. Second half, so disjointed, couldn't put a pass together. Arna rang the changes. I don't know what he was thinking. He obviously hadn't done his homework, because once they released Elanga and once they released Callum Hudson-Odoi, that opened up the wings for Forest to attack down both sides. And first of all, you had Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was absolutely rinsing Trent, and then they made that change and brought on Connor Bradley, and then he was rinsing Connor Bradley as well. Really poor. And the two boys finding each other on each wing with ease at times. Robbo came off, Costas came on. absolutely shocking. We've had enough conversations about the left back situation at this stage till I'm blue in the face. It's not up to the challenge. It's not up to it. Costas is not the answer, and Robbo looks again somewhat exposed. So that left side is still a problem. It wasn't addressed in the transfer window, as most areas weren't addressed in the transfer window. Chiesa not in the squad. Interesting as well. Not sure what the story was there. Probably would have been a nice option to bring on. As I said, we missed Harvey as well. Curtis Jones coming on, lucky to stay on the pitch. Poor. And then you see Darwin Núñez coming on, zero effect. These boys over on the left wing couldn't even play a simple 1-2 to each other. At one stage they were in the corner there opening up, trying to create a situation, and they couldn't even find each other within 3 yards of each other. Couldn't play a simple give and go. At that level, 200 grand a week or 150 grand a week, can't play a simple give and go. So the changes didn't make any difference at all. It was weird kind of switching to a back three as well when we were getting rinsed down the wings. Kind of exposed us even more. And even after Forest scored, it's not like we absolutely poured it onto them. They kept a lot of control of the game at that stage as well. They were holding onto the ball. They were creating more attacks. We have to put a shout out there to the boy Murillo as well, who was absolutely outstanding on the day. Gave us nothing all day long. Stupid little hit and hope balls. Then the usual panic kicks in as well. We absolutely, where you see top teams, they stick to their plan. If they believe in the plan, they stick to the plan, and they hope that the plan will come true. They don't necessarily have to change things. You don't see City panicking into change at times. You seen the other day Brentford took the lead. There's no panic. They believe in the plan and they work through the plan. We panicked in that situation, changed things up, lost the whole balance of the team. I don't think in that last 20 minutes players actually even knew what the hell they were doing. Not that they knew much in the first 70 minutes anyway, but it was certainly evident that we had no idea. Lads trying to ping shots from distance, you know, not doing the simple thing, playing the balls up the wings. Mo Salah with a couple of chances there, couldn't take them. He was poor on the day as well. Also a couple of opportunities to play people in, and he took on the shot. But we were trying shots from all sorts of angles, and if we weren't doing that, we were trying balls over the top, and balls over the top to a team like Forest, who spent most of their season defending. That's easy work for those guys between the keeper and the back line. As I said, Murillo I thought was brilliant. He was on top of everything when it came in and stuff like that. And we really didn't play that passing, penetrating game. Lots of possession. I think over 70% possession we had, but realistically, what did we do with it? And when the goal came, you know, for me it wasn't a surprise, because I think the two boys on the wings, once they came on, started running the show and we didn't react to it. Bradley obviously kind of came on, had a tough day against Callum Hudson-Odoi, looked a bit rusty to be honest, turned him a few times, and we know Callum Hudson-Odoi's game. He's around the league long enough now, play those balls in, push the ball ahead of himself and run onto it and stuff like that, and he left Conor Bradley for dust. And I just think Alisson with a couple of big saves as well. The scoreline could have been different, but a really poor showing. Bad result, bad performance, lacklustre performance. Came out, reminded me of that Fulham game, the opening of that season as well. Just walking out onto the pitch thinking, just rock up here and get it done kind of thing. Nonchalant kind of way, nonchalant approach in the passing, no urgency, no leaders on the pitch, no one grabbing hold of people and saying, stop doing those fucking stupid things, stop playing balls over the top like that, it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's play through the lines here, let's try and open them up, let's back off a bit and give them the ball a bit, let them come out and play a bit, and then we'll hit them and spring the attacks. No kind of conscious decision making there. Van Dijk again not marshalling the troops. I've questioned him as a captain loads of times. He's not vocal enough on the pitch. He gets vocal after the fact, which is a waste of time. And just void of leaders. You know, you think like, how many captains have we got out there on the pitch now? 3-4 international captains on the pitch at any one time. Not one of them acting as captain. Darwin Núñez coming on, looking like Liverpool is the last place on the planet he wants to be. Really poor attitude, poor play. You know, what were we working on since the international break? You know what I mean? And it's a wake-up call for Arne. You could see in the press conference afterwards, he was absolutely going ballistic. He was fuming, absolutely disgusted at how we played. And we'll see, does he ring the changes now for Tuesday night? What happens? Our first game in the Champions League, San Siro. Certainly a lot of players that played on Saturday might have our hands tied a little bit, because he's working with such a tight squad, and we didn't overly upgrade our bench. But there's a time that we put Joe Gomez back in the left back position. I would think so. There's a change that we could easily make, and I think it would improve us based on last season and based on this season. But let's see what happens. Is there a place in the team for Chiesa on Tuesday night? Wouldn't it be great if Chiesa went back to the San Siro and did bits for us? Surely he'd want a point to prove, being back on home soil against AC Milan in the San Siro. That would be kind of cool. That's the romantic in me, of course. But let's see what happens. Hopefully it'll be an interesting lineup, and hopefully Arna's had a go off these guys. That's unacceptable, to drop points to someone like Nottingham Forest and Anfield. No disrespect to Forest. I think overall probably they shaded it. I think we could have done much better, but I don't think we even worked our keeper that much, to be honest. You know what I mean? Especially second half, I don't think we did enough. We were poor, just poor all round. Poor passing, poor play. You know, no one taking responsibility on the pitch, and then so laid back. You know, no urgency in our play. And I'm hoping that's the last time I ever see a switch to a back three. That's for sure, because that just looked foreign to the boys. It's obviously something that we have never done, and a bit of naivety by the coach as well. Bit of naivety there, but you know, we'll live and we'll live and we'll learn and we'll move on from it, and hopefully we can do a job against Bournemouth next weekend. We will have a preview for the AC Milan game. I'll take a look at that and put something together. Always hard to know going into the first round of the Champions League fixtures. Hard to know who's going to play, and you know, especially with the new league format as well, the priority in the first few games and stuff like that. What are people kind of looking for and all? It's not a panic situation, but we have a tough league campaign ahead of us now in the Champions League as well. Some big matches coming up: AC Milan, Bayer Leverkusen, Bologna, Real Madrid. So some tough games coming up. So we'll see how they pan out as well. Let's go Reds. Let's try and keep this going, but let's learn from these poor performances, and let's box them off as isolated situations and bounce back in the league. Until next time, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video. We really appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers.